Welcome to a very special after buzz on the Facebook Live. We think, we hope, we're not entirely sure.
No.
Down to the speakers.
With
your host, Brandon Coates.
Welcome back. Feels like forever since we've done this thing. I missed last week, obviously, because, well, we hadn't gotten this figured out yet because of the banning. And then we also, the week before, I was off in Disneyland. So, yeah, it's been a while since I've done an AfterBuzz here. But, so this is probably, we're going to be doing, Scott, probably till October, I would imagine, till we're back on YouTube.
And October 16th is our grand return, so.
So if you want to catch it live, if you're watching the recording of this, you can catch this live, 11:30 Central, 10:30 Mountain Time, on the Buzz Adams Morning Show Facebook page, or it will load to YouTube after the fact, which would obviously be how you're watching it now. And so I got a few different topics to kind of go over at this point. And actually, since there are people still in the chat, I'm going to let them know that, hey, we are live. And send them a link to this, just so that we can get everybody there. Anyway, okay, so
I'm also going to need some time during the show.
Well, I was going to say, we did, like, so Scott has some groveling to do.
I have to.
Something happened. I'm not really sure what. But do you want it now, or do you want to save it to the end? Like, what do you want to do?
Let's do it now.
Okay.
Let's do it now.
Move over.
I'm taking the stage. I'm taking the stage here. Just keep me in frame. Keep me in frame.
Well, keep yourself in frame. You can
I can't. Okay. So a thing happened, and I am gravely sorry.
That came off like Matt Foley.
I'm gonna live in a van down by the river. Is what's gonna happen. No, I went into the chat to chat with the people.
Yeah.
Because you know me.
You're a man of the people.
I'm a man of the people. And, of course, my number one, Sonia, she wasn't there. It's tough when you're not there, baby, you know? And I got to talking to someone else, and there was a bottle of whiskey involved, and all of a sudden I proposed. I proposed, okay? We were just going to be married for a week.
That's all it takes is a bottle of whiskey?
And I wasn't thinking. But then Sonia shows up, right? She comes back. And I see that hurt in her eyes, you know?
Well, don't blame her.
And I think of all those times we've had, you know, where our love was strong, baby. Our love was good, girl. And I thought, I can't throw this away. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done some hard thinking, you know, over the past few days. And maybe I'm not a good person, you know. Maybe I'm not the guy for you, Sonia. And maybe you should be with somebody who deserves you, baby. But I'll tell you this, if you want to come back, my arms are open. But if you don't, I understand. If I should stay, I would only be in your way. And I wish you joy and happiness. But more than all this, girl, I wish you love. And I will always love you. I will always love you. I can't get that out.
No?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. Come here, come keep me in the nuts real quick. Anyway, I love you, Sonia.
Are you done?
And if you don't want me back, Blanca, I will totally.
Clearly you mean what you're singing at. There. Have fun.
Oh, we're keeping that up. We're keeping that up.
Oh, just because it's on me now?
That's right.
Yeah, I
See?
should have deleted it.
Backfired!
Son of a bitch. Well, thank you, Scott. That was highly entertaining, not going to lie. On that note, hello to everybody who's watching on Facebook and the YouTube checks. Apparently, there's people who are still, that's a thing that everybody does now, even though we're not. And so anyway, so I had a few topics that we can go over today. Scott, are you a roller coaster kind of a guy? Yay, nay?
Kind of. I mean,
What about the droppy ones?
I'm
Like
bored.
you know the ones that just like drop you straight down
Yeah,
and then shoot you back up. Do you like those?
No, I can do without that kind of stuff.
So like if you had the option, it's not something that you would ride.
Yeah, it's kind of like if everyone's going and I'm there, then like, well, I'm not gonna not go. But like,
So you would tough it out, but it's not something that you would pick.
I would tough it out for the people that I love.
Okay, so
Like Sonya.
oh Jesus Christ! So so when I was in Disneyland, they converted Tower of Terror to Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the same exact ride, except they just they changed the outside, they changed the inside, which kind of sucks because I really liked the Tower of Terror theme because it was a whole Twilight Zone. I really liked how it looked with that kind of
I got you.
1920s Hollywood hotel kind of a thing. Like
Yeah.
I really dug that, but it's pretty cool what they did with Guardians of the Galaxy. So when we were there, I'm there with my girlfriend and her daughter, and neither of them are going to ride this. I mean, obviously the daughter's not, because I don't even know if she was tall enough, but there's no chance she's riding it, and my girlfriend absolutely not going to ride it either. So she told me, she was like, hey, just see if you jump in line. I think the wait was like 30 minutes or something like that. So I was like, all right, I'll jump in line. You guys go do something else, and we'll meet up. So I'm waiting in line. And then I get on the ride, and we didn't have a really good breakfast that morning. Like this was one of the mornings where we didn't do it.
Gotcha.
Bad idea. Because I love roller coasters. First time I've almost passed out in one.
Really?
Yeah. Like, have you seen the footage of like the guy when it's clicking up, and then all of a sudden when the roller coaster starts going down, he just kind of flumps over like that.
Yeah.
And then he wakes up, and he flumps over like that. Best version of that video is, by the way, when somebody added the Windows start up and shut down tone.
No, yeah.
So when he falls asleep, you hear the Windows.
Yeah.
But that almost happened to me on this damn Guardians of the Galaxy ride because I was sitting there. I'm in the very front on the corner, and all of a sudden it just shoots us straight up, and then it starts to shoot us straight back down. And on the back down one, it almost felt like my head was like coming off. I was kind of like, oh shit. Yeah, so that was rather interesting.
So like one time I got on a roller coaster and what did I do? I just had a
Did you throw up?
No, I didn't throw up.
Oh, keep that
I'm gonna keep that there. No, I got on and it was one of those loop-de-loop roller coasters. But for whatever reason, and I don't know why, as we were going into the loop, I decided I was going to put my head between my knees. Don't do that in a loop-de-loop. I don't know why. I don't know if it was.
How did it? Wait.
I think I was having maybe like a thing. Like I was trying to. My
So it
head
didn't have it didn't have the harness.
No, it didn't have like a full harness.
But like a
on
lap
it.
bar.
Kind of a lap bar, and because this is like back in the 80s. I was really young, and I guess my brain was trying to get me right side up. It was like, wait, this is not
one of those?
This is not right. And so then I bent over, and that will you up, dude. Like that is highly
Well, because
unrecommended.
if you feel lightheaded and you're about to pass out, isn't that what they say to do? Is like you sit down and you actually put your head like between your legs, and that kind of gets the blood back to your brain.
Yeah, but I don't think.
Not while you're doing a loop.
I don't think while you're doing a loop to loop. I think
Probably not
I think
recommended.
it negates everything.
So another thing that I was going to talk about was why we were off the air last Friday. It was like 9:15 here, El Paso time. And we were just about to get into some really fun stuff with the roller derby girls. We were going to have a tug of war with Nico, or with Buzz, and we were going to have arm wrestling with Nico. And all of a sudden in my studio, it's dead air. There's nothing coming through.
Oh yeah.
I can't hear anything, and I'm trying to talk back to them because they're in a different studio, and like all havoc broke loose. Daver was in the building. If you don't know who Daver is one of the best engineers in the business. But I'm really concerned about Daver because I'm for his health, because of how frantic he gets at times like this. And I feel really bad for him too.
It's bad.
Because at one point we're back in a different room trying to reset the servers, and people are calling him who work here, who are, Daver, did you know we're off the air? Yeah, we fucking know we're off the air, man. Like, it's kind of obvious.
It's pretty, yeah. It's not like, oh, wait, oh, we've just been talking to ourselves for half an hour.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Anyway, so what ultimately happened is we were off the air from the whole rest of the show. The station came back on shortly after 10 o'clock, and it happened to be something came unplugged. I kid you not.
Wait,
Daver
seriously?
Daver has called all the different systems we work with, all of this different crap, and it was because something came unplugged. And basically what it was is there's this, I don't know what the hell it does in the studio, but he showed me, and I was already like, I was checked out at that point. But
do we know what it was? Was it like somebody unplugged a computer?
No, so this cord has weight to it.
Right.
And so the weight just gradually was pulling it out of the socket, and eventually it fell out. That's what happened.
Holy crap.
So David went around the whole building on Friday, zip tying all of the power cords to everything to make sure that doesn't happen again. So anyway, so that was why we were off the air on Friday here locally in El Paso for 45 minutes. But it all, ultimately we put on Facebook Live. We did the whole, we were able to do the tug of war, which we found out that Nico is really good at like holding his ground, because I don't think Nico lost in tug of war. And I wasn't going to get into the the tug of war. My shoulder's all fucked up.
I heard it ended well, though.
Oh my God! So if you haven't, go watch the video. It's about a little bit before halfway in, and it's Nico versus Buzz. And you can't see me do it, but I stepped up right behind Nico right when they were both getting the rope ready, and I was just like, dude, right when you start, let go of the rope. and you can tell like Buzz full all of his might, and Nico just goes like that. And it's just, like, if you think Buzz, because Buzz is kind of a bad actor when it comes to a lot of things. Like,
yeah.
There's some things where it's okay, but there's other times where, like, dude, you're trying to oversell that, and it's not funny, which he hates. When you say something he's doing is not funny, oh my God, makes him nuts.
But yeah, he went ass over tea
And he fell hard. So that was why we were off the air on Friday, and we have Ivan here on Facebook asking, how do you get to the chat, considering we're not on live on YouTube now until October 16th. Fuck you, YouTube.
Fuck you, YouTube.
How to get to the chat. If you go to YouTube and you type in Buzz Adams Morning Show, you'll see a video there that has what Scott created that's like, we're off live streaming until October 16th. If you click that link, the chat will be there. And it actually has a countdown. Yeah, it says, on the top, it says, YouTube live stream will return October 16th, 2017. Until then, catch the show at, and then he's got links to the actual, like, if you go to buzzadamsshow.com and stuff like that, you can find it there. But if you want in on the chat, that's an easy way. It's up and running there. And speaking of our website, Scott has been doing a little work. And you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, this is kind of an exclusive for you people, because we're not telling everybody else yet. We basically, the Buzz Adams Morning Show now has its own website. Like before, if you typed in Buzz Adams Show, you went to a page that was on KLAQ.com. But now it's we got our own site set up so that when you go there, it's just like full functionality and everything. BuzzAdamsShow.com is live right now, and you can go check it out. It'll have its own newsletter, its own VIP club, everything. So we're still figuring out what we're going to call the VIP club. We kind of want to call it the Adams Family, but we're afraid we're going to get sued.
Yeah, God forbid.
Everybody likes the idea, but I got to run it by the guys in corporate to see if they'll do it. So you may be able to join the Adams Family pretty soon. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, you go check it out. We're really going to kind of like launch it like August 1st.
Yeah, like really? It's a soft opening is what we've had so
soft
far.
Opening. But if you want to go check it out, it is live now. BuzzAdamsShow.com.
Yeah, and that kind of also goes to like some of the other topics that people have brought up, is they're wondering about KLAQ or Buzz Adams Morning Show, and it still happens in this building. We've been a network for almost 2 years now, where we're on in Midland, Odessa, we're on in San Angelo, and we're on in Abilene. We're not just in El Paso,
exactly,
and we're most certainly not just on KLAQ. But people still get that scrambled in their brain. So this is us again moving to more of this network feel, because we're across West Texas. We're not just locally in El Paso, which I find funny when people like pop up in the chat every now and then. They're like, "Hey, Q listeners, there's 3 other radio stations that are listening as well."
Exactly.
But then, like I'm saying, there's still people in this building to this day that still don't understand that, and they still don't get it, and they come up with ideas, or they come up with things that they want us to do, and we can't do it because guess what? Like like Blanca was asking about where we were going to be able to find this the live stream. Was it going to be on the Buzz Adams Morning Show Facebook page or the KLAQ Facebook page?
Right.
It's on the Buzz Adams Morning Show because that's what this is for. It's not just for KLAQ. But then she brought up last Friday as to why that was on the KLAQ page, and that's because that was local. We were talking about a roller derby here in El Paso. You know who doesn't give a shit about that? The other markets.
Everybody, like they don't, in every other town.
They really don't care. Granted, we ended up sharing the video, and it did great just because it was funny, because everybody gets to watch Buzz Fall, and let's be honest, watching Buzz Fall is pretty entertaining. But that's kind of where there's this divide that we're still trying to balance here. Because the Buzz Adams Morning Show is its own entity at this point. It's not. I mean, it's still a part of KLAQ,
right?
But it's bigger than just that at this point, where it's on a grander scale throughout West Texas.
It's a bigger thing now.
Exactly, and not just because Buzz's waistline got bigger when he's actually slimmed down a lot.
Yeah, he's actually losing some weight. Like, I'm gonna give him some credit. He's been doing that.
His head is still fucking huge, and not metaphorically either. like physically, he has a gigantic head.
That's one thing he and I have in common. Our heads are no longer proportional to our bodies anymore.
I don't know, like really random here, but like tomorrow I'm going to bring in, like selling a bunch of my crap because I just moved, and there's not a whole lot of space there because I moved in with my girlfriend and her daughter, and so there's I got boxes of crap and going through it. I'm like, dude, like this stuff literally sat in a box for 2+ years at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Like there was stuff that I packed up when I left Florida 4 years ago that's still sitting in the same box.
Yeah, I have a lot of that too.
Like I have a crap load of Pez dispensers. The reason I have a crap load of Pez dispensers is really randomly in Florida, somebody bought me one. And then it just became a thing where people around the building would buy me Pez dispensers. So they were like, I had toys and shit all over my office in Florida. So when I got let go, I just took everything and I threw them in a box. And that's basically where they've been now for 5 years. Because my girlfriend even asked me as we were going through stuff, she goes, why do you have like hundreds of Pez?
See, for me it's books. Like, and the thing is, like, you really don't want to pack and unpack books until you know you're in a place for a while. And I like my place, but I know I could find a cheaper place. I just, have to build up the energy and the time to move, like.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I've already moved the stuff, so we're selling a bunch of crap off, and like I'm going to bring in DVDs and CDs tomorrow. By the way, my buddy Blair just joined. Hi, Blair. How's Portland, buddy? But yeah, so I'm going to bring in all that crap, and I was kind of hoping that Buzz was going to say yes, because when I mentioned I was selling my DVDs,
yeah,
because again, those are things I haven't watched a DVD in I don't know how long, and I used to hold on to that stuff because I thought that I would need it for the audio. But at this point, with YouTube and everything else, other people who don't get fucking banned from YouTube, who post stuff that they don't own, again, fuck you, YouTube. Is that going to get us banned again? We just constantly say
no, because I wrote a whole post about it that's been thrown around.
Okay, good. Because there's enough stuff out there that to have the physical have the physical DVDs and CDs and stuff, it's okay.
I did that with CDs. Like I got rid of all my CDs, but I backed them all up first onto a hard drive.
Movies, see, that's the problem. Is do you know how long it would take me to do that? I have 2,000 CDs.
Yeah, well, it took me. It was like 6 months worth of project, and I did it. But movies are so much larger, and you'd have to buy several fucking hard drives. It's just not worth it.
Yeah. So, but again, if Buzz will hopefully buy most of them, and then just going to go to his house.
Joanna is now watching us on YouTube,
which is right down the hallway.
Literally down the hallway. She could just be in here and be on YouTube with us.
That's true. No, on Facebook. Come on, Scott.
Or wherever.
And my mom joined. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom.
I'm selling all my stuff. She's going to get fired up about that. Because, so I did a post. So this is something that happened many, many years ago. My parents had a garage sale. My mom sold my He-Man toys. I don't know how much money, but 15, 20 bucks maybe.
Right.
But I had all of them, like every action figure, Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, all of them. And I was heartbroken because like that was my He-Man was my childhood.
Really? Yeah.
Like it was big time.
It was Thundercats for me.
And was a big fan of Thundercats, but He-Man was my jam.
Yeah, most people it was He-Man. I don't know. There was something about, for me, like so many of the people who watched He-Man, I didn't like. So therefore, I didn't like He-Man.
Oh.
It was like the guys down the street who were assholes watched He-Man.
They were the He-Man fans.
And so then I was like, I don't even like He-Man.
Yeah.
Well, I like Thundercats.
So anyway, so God bless my mom. She, years later, I'm like probably 26, 27 years old. She jumps on eBay and buys the lot. All of them.
The lot.
And it was one of my greatest Christmases because I got my He-Man back. But then again, these have done nothing but sit in a box for now 10 years. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to pull out the ones that I want to keep. And then at that point, it's all, everything's going to be sold off and everything's... Yeah. Or I'll just go dump it at Buzz's house. I mean, his house is a cluster anyway. He's not going to know what gets dropped out there.
He'll find some place for it.
So a couple other topics I was going to bring up. One was we were talking about mortgage companies and how Buzz got super butthurt about this one company that had all these different college loans. They didn't fill their paperwork out properly, so then other people were getting out of their loans. And Buzz was like, well, you took the money. You need to pay it back. Not so fast, because I've gotten hosed by mortgage company before. I always paid my bills on time. Never once missed a payment. But you have to have certain insurance to cover your home. Right. Well, one insurance company was sending them the wrong information. So they kept sending me letters saying, hey, you don't have the proper insurance for your property. If you don't provide us with that correct information, we're going to basically take out a policy for you. And the policy is really fucking expensive.
Really?
But what was happening was they were getting my information that was the correct information. But then the other insurance company that was basically, they were kind of covering my own personal stuff, which wasn't as much. They saw that, and then they got rid of the other one. So then, I guess the minimum that it would cover wasn't enough. So anyway, so I had the proper insurance. They kept fucking the paperwork up. So what did they do? They charged me, it was like an extra $800 or $1,000 a month. A month.
What?
And if I don't make that payment, they can foreclose on my house. All because they fucked the paperwork up. I paid my bills, I provided the proper information, but because they're claiming I'm not making my payments, they could foreclose on my house. And they were threatening me on the phone to say that they were going to do it when I would call to complain that I had the right. And this went on for months.
Holy shit. I'll burn this place down before I let you have it.
So when I get adamant about these mortgage companies and these loan companies, how they can all go fuck themselves, you can go fuck yourself, because I've been through it. Seriously, it's a fucking joke. The fact that you can do that, I have absolutely no problem with these people getting out of their student loans because absolutely. This loan company, they wrote down all the wrong information. They put down the loans, the incorrect loan amount. How do you fuck that up as a loan company? If you're that bad at your job, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, they screw over so many other people. No, fuck that.
But anyway, so that's how I got hosed by the stupid ass mortgage company. Phil is asking if I have any vinyls for sale. I think I have 3 that I got for free a few months ago here. Kevin was unloading a bunch of stuff and he just gave them to me. I have one Social Distortion. That's all I remember.
Oh, okay.
The other 2 I don't know what they are, but there's 3 vinyls and I have 2,000 CDs and 500 DVDs that I need to get rid of. One more thing that people have brought up was the chat commandments, is that we need to create the chat commandments.
Okay, thou shalt not
be a douchebag. It's real, that's it. There's one commandment. And there's certain things that we know don't fly. One of the guys learned yesterday. You don't call somebody a retard. How old are you?
You learned that one, didn't you?
Are you 5? As a society, I hope we would be past that at this point.
Brendan has very strong feelings about the word retard.
I do. You spend enough time with Special Olympics, then
That's right.
You take offense to it.
So
and
you should know that if you get into that chat and you start dropping that word around,
you're just gonna get banned.
You're gonna get the hammer in the face.
All right, so then this is about the time where anybody that's watching live on Facebook Live, if you have any questions, if there's anything that you want to bring up as a topic, go ahead and put it into the chat now. Because I got one final thing I was going to bring up on this AfterBuzz, and it's Buzz constantly touching my fucking food.
This was great. Fuck. I witnessed this today.
Oh,
so let me set this up, and then you can explain it. But let's see. So I walk into Brandon's studio just to tell him something real quick, and Buzz comes in right behind me, and he just touches the packet of peanuts.
No, he didn't just touch it. He grabbed it.
Well,
he picked it up.
And Brandon immediately, because Buzz had his hand on it, threw the whole thing away.
Yeah, and then so this is what happens frequently. So it's basically just like it's packaged like trail mix is what it is. And anytime he comes in when I have something, hey, can I have some? No. Unless I take it out and I like put it in your hand, I don't want you touching my food. You've all seen it on the live stream. He picks his nose all the fucking time.
That's right.
It's fucking disgusting. Don't touch my food.
Those hands are like an EPA Superfund.
Don't touch my shit. It's bad enough he spits when he talks. Like he'll have like a half a bite of food still in his mouth when he's talking, and it just comes flying out. And it's like, dude, like it's like a wood chipper coming out of there.
Yeah.
So ultimately, what happened today was he reaches over, he grabs it, and that's when I'm like, okay, well, so that's done. So I threw it away. Scott left. I think you missed this part. As Buzz is leaving, he looks at me and goes, "You really?" He goes, "You really throwing that away?" I go, "Yeah, I'm not fucking touching it." And he goes, "So I can have it?" And I go, "Yeah." So he reaches into the garbage and he pulls out the package of trail mix because apparently it was that important to him to grab that goddamn trail mix.
And it was below the rim.
Oh yeah, this was deep.
Like
this wasn't like
rules. This is like inside.
This wasn't the eclair that was sitting on the newspaper. This thing was in it because I threw it from probably a good 10 feet away into the garbage can. So this thing was in there.
And it's one of those 4-foot tall garbage cans.
Fucking gross, dude.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty.
Anyway, that's how we're going to end this week's AfterBuzz. But this is hopefully what we're going to be doing for the next few months while we're booted off of YouTube.
Yeah,
we'll stream it live.
Turns out our thing just connects into Facebook Live as well as it does Facebook, so we don't do anything different.
We'll load it right up to YouTube. So once this wraps up, it'll be loading up to YouTube for us. On that note, you're always more than welcome to join in on the chat because this chat is still technically available despite the fact that we're not on live because YouTube sucks.
Yeah, if you don't have Facebook
and
or
fuck the
something
Beatles because we think they're the ones that are behind it.
Fuck you, Beatles.
Most overrated band ever.
Sons of bitches.
And I actually really only like saying that because it gets under Buzz's skin. Even though he knows I'm joking, it still bothers him.
Do you think, do you really think they need more money? Or, is Ringo really, scraping the bottom of the barrel or something?
No.
Or,
Ringo is going to be here in El Paso in October.
Oh, that's true. Oh, we got to get him on the show.
Just saying.
Ringo, you got some splaining to do.
Listen, you son of a bitch. We're going to get you, Ringo. We're going to get you. And on that note, we'll see you next week.